during this, as on a chair, he has tried to set up a training some courses with the affiliated with the university. So still they are under process, and very soon everyone get the course from these universities. He is a man who is helping to everyone for the promotion of traditional sciences in India. He has a credit of number of publications as a form of the articles in journals, as a books, so many in English and Hindi related with the naturopathy, yoga, and traditional system of medicine. And during this all working period, he have received many national and international awards. And presently, he has a 2 chair as a pro chancellor of the university, the Global Open University, as well as the head of the Acupuncture Science Association, India. Sir, welcome you. Your presence will be definitely boost up for the promotion of acupuncture.
Thank you, Dr. Dhingra.
And Dr. today we have our main speaker, Dr. Tilakji Kalra from Australia. So basically, Dr. Tilakji was the engineer, and in 1982, he left the engineering work and joined the acupuncture college in Australia. So he is the Australian acupuncturist trained doctors. In 1982, he joined the acupuncture diploma and completed 1986. So 3.5 year course he has joined there and got the training from the Australia, Sydney. After that, he joined some government hospital with the acupuncture, but later on, he started the private practice in Australia. I met him in the Australia on the WAFAS International Conference, and I was fully impressed and fully say about the development of how he is very, very much cooperative for the promotion of the acupuncture in India as well as Australia. So whenever he come here in India, he come to your institution and doing the free work for the patient. So we have a inter-exchange knowledge between them, Australia. So he has a experience of last 31 years regarding the acupuncture. He visited China so many times. He joined the short courses, advanced courses in China, Beijing, Guangzhou, Shanghai. And presently, he is fully devoted towards the acupuncture side. Especially his work is the pain management. And I welcome Dr. Tilakji. Today, he is going to deliver a lecture on the headache, the different diagnosis, different method of diagnosis of headache according to the TCM, according to the modern science, and how we can treat and how we can diagnose it. So this will help us to enhance the knowledge of our Indian acupuncturist. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind introduction, and my respects to Dr. Pandey as well while he's there. I will try, when I come next time, I'll try to visit him. Now, before I say, basically, I'm an engineer. I know a lot of you are medical doctors, so my knowledge in that area is not as great. That's number one. Number two, I don't diagnose with pulses and tongues. I take the history and I analyze as an engineer. And I palpate, and that's how I diagnose. And I'm very confident about my diagnosis. I think Dr. Dhingra has seen it when I was there last year in February. And that's how it is, with a lot of experience and working with the doctors as well. I think we'll start from here. We'll share the screen.
Right, sir.
All the slides which are here is done by my granddaughter, and you can appreciate her work.
Right.
Okay, let's go. This is the basic. Now, everybody in this world generally has headaches. Doesn't matter, maybe short-term headaches, migraine, some people have it. There was a research done in Australia. 4.9 million Australians experience headaches or migraines in Australia. And 23% of households contain at least one person who suffers from headaches or migraine. Now you can imagine people taking leave due to headaches and the amount of loss of time and the money, which adds up to a very, very significant number. Now, I have, over the experience, I found out what are the different causes of headaches. Firstly, head tumors, blood pressure, cervical spondylitis, eye strain, ear problems, jaw and teeth problem, sinusitis, allergy, food and drugs. Posture is equally important. People, those who don't sleep well, they get headaches too. And then dehydration and low blood pressure also sometimes give you headaches. Then ladies generally get hormonal. And there are some other causes too, which I will come to later on. Let's start with tumors in brain tumors. Now, I haven't treated many people in this area, but I don't know if anybody has treated in this area. So I will leave this to eminent surgeons and doctors to treat these conditions, which probably are more knowledge they have in this area. Now, blood pressure. Now, we can, one of the things, blood pressure, people, those who have it, invariably, they will have headaches. And this can be due to hereditary, diet, and stress. Most of the time, acupuncture can treat headaches. Actually, some time ago, doctors were giving low blood pressure medicines to cure headaches. Whether it's a blood pressure or not, they were using that, and I think it's still being used in some areas. In Australia, they do use it. Now, most of the time, I've given the acupuncture points, which you can use. Okay, there's one point here on the apex of the ear. You can press it here, and that can also lower the blood pressure. But again, at the same time, the medical science has got a lot of medicines to bring the blood pressure down as well. But these are the points I will use. That's gallbladder 1, just here. Then colon 11, spleen 6, colon 4, liver 3, stomach 36, and other points which I have listed in this. Now, gallbladder 21 is very important point, because that's where when you have any stress, that's where it starts. And I will use most of the conditions when I treat a patient. Causes cervical spondylitis. Generally, it is related to C2 to C4 most of the time. Now, in India, the roads are not the best, although some roads are very good now. but generally, and a lot of people travel in scooters, motorbikes, three-wheelers. With that, you get a lot of jerks, and even traveling in cars, you will have that problem. So if that is the problem, and also sitting in front of computers over a long period, watching screen at a position which is higher, so your neck is like this all the time, lower than the eye level. Working on two screens, some people work on two screens in IT business. How I will diagnose is, I will ask this question, I will check other things, and then first thing I'll check it, I'll go with my thumb on the back of the neck, and if a person says, that's where the pain is, so that will be my diagnosis. And the treatment points, I will use where it is, C to C4, and I'll use GRG points. Then, as I said, gallbladder 20, 21, colon 4 is very important, liver 3, and some other points which I have mentioned. Now, I will also do stimulation and heat in that area, which I found is very, very helpful in bringing. And also, I will use some stretching of the neck. Of course, physiotherapists, they do some of the techniques, which is also helpful. I will not knock it out, but all those things are very effective in the long term. Now, eyesight is equally important, which can give you headaches. You might have heard that a lot of children, when they're sitting in the school class, they can't see clearly. So there are two elements in that. One is you have a problem with the eye. Basically, you need glasses. So I would suggest get the glasses, definitely. But you can use some points. But there is another element to that too, is some people get headaches and migraine with the light, the moment the light hits. So there have been some development in this area. They have been putting colored lenses, like disposable lenses we put in the eye instead of wearing the glasses. And they come with the colored lenses they have been doing for a while. So that can also help people, those who are affected, those who get headaches and migraine with the light. If anybody has any question, they can stop me anytime, but please, my knowledge about computers is very, very low. So you have to ask me when you want to ask me. Now, ear problems are also there. When when you have a ear pain, you get a headaches too. So 3-hitter 17 is the one which is used for the ear problem. And also there is an ear problem which I have shown on the figure, which can be used. Apart from that point, colon 4, Shenman, 3-hitter 18, we can use all these points. But along with that, I will always use gallbladder 21 and 20. These are the 2 points I will always use with most of the headaches. Now, jaw and teeth problem. I think this thing has been discussed already a few weeks ago, TMJ. Now, how will I diagnose that? If people have a toothache, surely they have to go to the dentist, most likely. But if they have a jaw problem, how I will diagnose is, I will ask the person to open the mouth and press an area just in front of the ear. And generally, if you have a jaw problem, that will be painful. Similarly, you can go at the back of the ear as well. Then when you open your mouth, up the top here, Tai Yin and Yin Tang. This will be painful as well when you have a jaw problem. I had a case not long ago. This lady, came to see me, and before she came to see me, she was taking treatment and they were giving her cortisone, very high level, and then they reduced from 50 to 20 micrograms, but she was still getting up at night with the headache. So I checked her thoroughly with the other things. Then my next question was, open your mouth. I touched it there. Straight away I said, no problem. The answer came, yes. The dentist left my mouth open for a long time. So the problem was here. I treated 3 times and she wasn't getting at night with the headache at all. But you can give some stud needles, which patient can use it in that area. The next one comes is sinus headaches, which is also reasonably common in most of the places, more so in Australia due to pollen. Because we have a lot of gardens, national parks, and especially at the time of spring, there's a lot of pollen around, and autumn as well. So a lot of people suffer. You can get nose openers, you can do yoga, you can do neti, but most of the acupuncture points are colon 20 is very, very effective. Tai Yin, Tai Yang, colon 4. Now, diagnosis for this one is very simple. You ask the patient, have you got nose block? To test that is, tell the patient to close one side of the nose and then breathe. And then the other side. It says there is a blockage, basically, and you can also ask, you suffer from sinuses? The answer will come. And on that basis, you start treating the patient with these points. And I will always use cupping in the upper back. I found cupping is very, very good for these kind of. Then you can also use ear candles. You can use neti. And some deep breathing exercises as well. I use certain oils which are specially made for that. They call them sinus blend. I don't know if it's available, which is very, very effective in this kind of problems. Now we come to food allergy. When you can't find anything else, which I have described before, then you come to allergy of food and drugs. So in that, number one is chocolate. A lot of people will get headaches from chocolate, and a lot of people get migraines as well. Then alcohol. Red wine is very, very potent for giving headaches and migraine. Alcohol gives you morning headaches, as they say. Then I have seen few cases, they get headaches in the front here, drinking oranges and drinking orange juices. Then the other one, I have seen few cases with cucumber. Now, I can't tell you why. Probably a lot of doctors could explain, the chemists could explain what chemicals are in there, which give you headaches. Then eggplant, which we call as a brinjal in India. Some people get headaches with Coke and soft drinks, but I have seen few cases, the headaches get better with Coke. So you have to ask those questions from the patient, because that's how I diagnose. When the other people, you don't have a blood pressure, you don't have a cervical spondylitis, you don't have a eye problem, you don't have a sinus problem. When you go through all of them, then I will come to food and allergy. And it is not easy to diagnose this one. The only thing I will ask people is what you like most, what you drink most, and what you eat most. And a lot of time you'll find the answer will come there. And I will tell them, look, I want you to stop that food item for a week or two and see how you go. If that is not a culprit, then you go to the next stage. So then you can get medical testing done too, your allergy from different foods. Peanuts is very, very common all over the world. In Australia, it's a lot more. And my own granddaughter is allergic to all nuts. So she can't take any nuts, not even peanut oil. Nothing has to be cooked in that. So they have EpiPen. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of doctors will know what it is. If suddenly a reaction comes in, because sometimes you go to a restaurant and although you tell them it's still, it can happen. So it's an anti-allergic. Straight away you give that medicine, at least temporarily it will stop the reaction. Now we come to postures, which is most common. My element is, now in the first case, you'll find people who are tall, invariably they tend to bend their necks forward. And when a patient comes in, I'll watch very, very thoroughly how they sit, how they stand. And on that basis, one other thing I will treat that as well. I have to tell them, look, you're not sitting properly. So you have to change. Very simple treatment for this kind of, especially standing. I will tell them to put your hand in the back. When you put the hand in back, your shoulders open up. That's one treatment. The other treatment is you can roll up a towel, put under the thoracic area and lie on a hard surface. That will also drop the shoulder back. But there is one more is, you see, once you have this kind of a problem, you don't know you are doing it. It's subconscious is telling you. So the only other treatment is, because you don't know you are doing it, sit in front of a mirror 2 minutes at a time, 3-4 times a day, or a couple of times a day, and make sure you're sitting straight, and hopefully within a fortnight, your posture will improve. Same thing goes in this area. People sit when they're watching the television, sit in front of a computer, and I have seen, if you watch my neck, the necks are like this. So you have to watch those people as well. Then sleeping on the tummy is not a good idea because your neck is always twisted, which is again one of the major problems for neck problem. And it can in the long term bring spondylitis, cervical spondylitis as well. So that can also give you headaches, but this can also give you problem also when people sleep in coma position. Then the neck, one leg goes over the other leg. And that can create other problems like hip problem, low back problem. I don't want to go in detail about those, but I will ask this question again. What position you sleep? And you can try to correct that. This is a computer. I teach people how to sit in front of a computer. Majority of the time, hands are like this. Your elbows, your arms are not supported properly. So if you look at this picture, the arms are supported. I don't want to go into detail about the screen levels, which a lot of people know, the eye level where it should be. But again, one thing is very important. When your hand is straight, when you do that, your shoulder is still affected. My suggestion, I could not find the actual picture. If you raise this elbow about 1.5 inches, when you use your mouse, you'll find the only motion you have is only in your forearm, not upper arm. And if you're doing the upper arm, it will affect the shoulder. Last but not the least, people, when they get off a chair, let me go a step backward. Majority of the people at my age, they can't get off a chair. Why? Because all their life, they will use their hands to get off a chair. So where the full body weight goes on your shoulder. As we age, shoulders become weaker. So you haven't used the legs. So you can't get off a chair. Your legs are weak too. My suggestion is, this is again, I always watch when the patient comes, especially if they have a shoulder problem, I will always ask them, can you get off a chair? So my suggestion is, if you're sitting like this, bend forward and get up. So you're not using your hands. This again, in the long term, can lead to headaches. This is where I come to the postures. Now, tension, headache, and sleep problem. A lot of us people are very tense these days due to overwork, and especially with the mobile phones, a lot of people are on call 24 hours a day, basically. So a lot of tension comes. That affects sleep. A lot of people take sleeping tablets, but I have a different solution for that. Apart from treating them, see, most of the time people have problem going to sleep when you have a tension. So your brain is always working over time, and you're thinking about the problem, what I did today, what I'm going to do tomorrow. So you have to stop the thinking problem. There has been research done to count in threes, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and keep going. So when you're doing that, you're not thinking of any of your problems. So the success rate in this one, they found is about 80%, which is very high. And I use this technique in my clinic. However, some people don't like threes. So I made up. Start from 1,000. 1,000, 999, 998, 997. So you're not thinking of any of the problem. And 80% chance is you go to sleep. Before you do that, I also recommend deep breathing, which relaxes the muscle as well. Pandeyji knows much more about that. They can mention more about this. But I use, and then yoga also helps removing the tension. The other cause is dehydration. People, those who drink alcohol, they get dehydrated in the morning. Low blood sugar is also one of the causes of these are all temporary headaches. You can treat it. If people they are used to eat food at a particular time, they haven't eaten the food at that time, they get a temporary headache. So simple solution is, tell them, take some sugar at that time, which increases hydration, and then drink water. Now, water drinking is very, very important. You can live without food up to 3 days, but you cannot live without water. Now, people ask me why. Water. Dehydration will also give you cramps, which is well known. As we age, we get a lot of cramps because a lot of people don't drink enough water. Now, the simple test is your urine should be clear. That's one thing. Again, as I said, inadequate fluid. Why we need water? We did some research in this area. Our body temperature is 36.7. Normally we touch temperature here, tongue, these days on the forehead, but these are only particular places. But if you look at the skin temperature is always higher, generally. What is the outside temperature? Well, this is my question always asked. What is the outside temperature? In winter time is lower, summertime is high. But in Australia, which is quite common, you can have a winter in the middle of summer as well. So if it is cold outside, your body is warm, natural phenomena of the body is to lose heat. And there was some research done in this area. Amount of heat we lose from our skin, you can heat your hot water system. That much heat. I don't remember the exact figures, but that will also depend on your body. So we also lose water. When we breathe, we lose water. When we talk, we lose water. And when we lose heat from the body, we also lose water as well. So the water is equally important to hydrate ourselves. And that can be also one of the causes of headaches. Now, hormonal. Hormonal is very common among women, and they suffer from migraines. Headache has been linked to the female hormone estrogen. Estrogen controls the chemicals in the brain that affects the sensation of brain. A drop in estrogen levels can trigger headaches. Hormone levels changes for a variety of reasons, including menstrual cycle, which is you lose a lot of blood. And there are two ones. Headaches can be during, before, and after their periods. Now, there are a lot of acupuncture points treat that, but I have found I treat majority of those people with specific frequency microcurrent. I get about 80% results with that. It regularizes the menstrual cycle as well. I have seen young ladies, losing blood all the time. So menstruation is going on. With 3 or 4 sittings with microcurrent, specific frequency microcurrent, everything balances out. No more bleeding, and they get better and hardly getting any headaches after that. Now, another causes are meningitis, stroke, withdrawal symptoms. People those who smoke a lot, drink a lot, if they want to stop it, you will have withdrawal symptom. Then there is one special item I have put it, spinal fluid. I believe when you take spinal fluid for certain tests, I believe, and if it's not done properly, you can have a headache 24/7 up to 6 months. I had one case that's going many, many years ago. My knowledge in this area was very little, so I could not help that lady. But this is what I was told, that is one of the causes can be of headaches. Aneurysm, probably doctors more know about me. My knowledge in this area is not, and so I don't try to treat. And I think this concludes most of my presentation. Now, if anybody has any question, I'll be happy to answer it.
And thank you, Dr. Pralda. There are so many questions but before that, I request to Pandeyji and kindly give us some comments so we can, in the meantime, audience will be prepared for the question answering.
No, it is really very interesting to hear Dr. Kalra, Dr. Tilakrajji.
Thank you.
He has given a very informative things, causes of headache. I am in practice for so many years, but I myself has not gone through so many causes of headache, right from cervical to hormonal problems to posture. And for every cause, he has given treatment also, how to treat it. He has given different points. He has given different other techniques. So I think it is very informative talk. I think I should thank Kalra ji for enhancing our knowledge in this field. Anyway, the participants may like to have some question on this. If anybody has any question, you can ask. Any question is there from any participant?
Just to add to knowledge, I don't use pulse and time diagnosis. I use my hands. I ask a lot of questions to my patient, and sometimes it has to be linked with certain issues. It happened maybe 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Give you a simple example is that there was a young lady came to see me. She was having pain in the abdominal area. So, as usual, endoscopy was done, CT scan of back, ultrasound of all the organs, blood test. When I used to work with the doctors, when they didn't find anything, they told me to fix her. Okay. I found out that when she gave birth to her son 10 years ago, she tore a muscle in the coccyx area. Now, when you tear a muscle in the coccyx area, being an engineer, you don't sit on your bottom. You sit forward. Okay? 3 treatments, 1 in the back, 2 in the abdominal area, fixed. Now, sometimes it's so simple, but you have to diagnose it. A lot of tests will not tell you what the problem is and how the problem got developed.
Yes, sir. Definitely, you have given the explanation as a holistic approach. So in India, it's a little bit different because in China, in Australia, you can guide them to change the diet. You can say sitting position, you can change. But in India, everybody wants, if the person is coming for the clinic, if we are just giving advice to them without any treatment, and they will not be saying it might be doctor that does not know anything about the problems.
No, you do treat at the same time, as I said, but at the same time you advise as well. Both things go together.
No, I find one more thing. What happens? Hello? Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What happens in practice when there are a number of patients waiting? What we usually do, we used to dispose of the patient as early as possible and attend to next. So this at times is not good because we could not, unless we interact with the patient thoroughly, we cannot diagnose well. What I learned today from Dr. Tilak ji is you should devote time, try to understand what exactly is the problem with the patient.
Right.
When you talk, then you will be able to diagnose well. Headache, very simple thing, but the causes are many, as he has explained, right from posture to sleep to ear to jaw to so many other causes. So to understand all these things, devoting time to patient, listening to the patient very patiently is very, very important. And when you know the exact cause, then treatment become very, very easy.
Of course. I spend more than an hour with every patient generally. Sometimes it can go longer. Again, I'm not as young as most of you are. I think Dr. Dhingra knows about my age. I'm at least 10, 15 years older than him, at least. Am I right?
Yes.
So I enjoy what I do. That's my main purpose is these days. And I don't see too many. But I'm still in good health.
Wonderful. So. 1 hour is a pretty long time. When I was working in a hospital, I used to have about 50, 60 patients waiting outside.
Yes.
And what we used to do, we used to devote hardly 2 to 3 minutes to a patient. And just before the patient enters, most of the time our prescription is ready. So this
is the real
that it happens
also is there. I don't
know. It happens here as well. 10 minutes, right? And prescription is ready and you go. But look, when I did my acupuncture, I see one patient at a time. Even then, the minimum time I was spending was 45 minutes. These days, I spend at least 1 hour, sometime more. And I don't see too many.
Very good. I think we should follow that. At least 20 to 25 minutes we should devote to the patient and try to understand the patient properly.
But as I said, I give you
very easy then. Treating the patient become very easy.
It's very easy. Yeah. I'll give you another example. I was working in a medical center, so they sent me a patient about 40, 45 years old. His job is driving. Okay? And I asked him, sit down, what's your problem? He said, 6 weeks ago, I had a pain in the chest. So send me to the heart specialist. He didn't find anything. So they put him antidepressant. And luckily they sent him to me. So I said, okay, take your shirt off. Guess what I found? Lipoma. Job is driving, sitting on a nerve. And everybody saw it. Probably didn't notice it. And I told him, look, get an ultrasound done. If it's sitting in a nerve, a small incision will take the thing out and you'll be fine. So my basic principle is try to find what the cause is. Once you find the cause, as you said, Dr. Pandey, it becomes very, very easy to treat the patient.
It's very true. But the little bit trend is different, you know. Your country's situation and our country's situation little bit is different. Sometimes
of course.
That's the major problems. And I request from the audience side, anybody wants to say questions, any doubt?
So use your hands, which is very good, and try to feel. This is what I do. And a lot of time, hand will tell you, you'll get used to finding where the problem is.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Tilak. And Dr. Sahab, before giving the thanks to our both guests, one thing I want to clear for the clearance for the other. Yeah, carry on.
There is somebody want to ask question.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I have one patient. He's suffering from headache from around more than 1 year.
Yes.
Previously, he was suffering from cervical spondylosis, which is treated by orthopedic surgeon. So now we will also sometime taking headache suddenly start, and sometime it will going rest suddenly. So, but when I palpate the trapezius muscles of the back, they have their trigger little bit. The trigger points also is there. But when they try to work on the laptop or computer, when you try to flex the neck, the getting pain is started. So what should be the better for that? So that's why.
Posture can be one of the problems. What you explained to me. Now, did the patient had a surgery?
No, sir. Previously, there's no any surgery.
So there could be still spical spondylitis. It may need treatment, as I said. What area it is has to be between 2 and 4, which is more common.
Yes,
okay?
Sir.
And if it's lower than that, then there'll be pain in the upper arm.
No pain is upper arms. There is
So
only the pain is on the upper of shoulders, both sides.
Up here.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So it could be a tension headache. That's another cause too. Sleep could be another problem in those areas.
Oh.
Sleeping position could be a problem too.
Okay. Maybe because that's why I'm confused. So that's why I asked for this.
Yeah, you have to ask all those questions and then, find out. And again, a lot of time I have noticed, I also recommend, a lot of people have very long, very thick pillows. Your neck goes like this.
Yes.
Which is not very good too. Basically, your neck is like this and you have an empty space here. That's the way you can roll up a towel and put it there. I can fold a little bit of your pillow, thin pillow, soft pillow, put your neck there. You can either sleeping on the back or on the side. You can work that as
well. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I've had a very interesting case of headache.
Yes.
20 years ago when I was in practice.
Yes.
So it was a lady, she came, first we examined her cervical and all that.
Yes.
X-ray and ultrasound and this and that. But nothing was traceable. Then we thought of it may be hormonal problems. We have had a gynecologist with us, so we referred to our gynecologist. She examined her and she said nothing. And this headache she was having for more than 10 years.
Yes.
And we could not diagnose exactly what was the cause. So ultimately, in nature cure, you may be knowing, if somebody knows naturopathy, fasting is a therapeutic modality in naturopathy. Ultimately, first we put her in yoga and this and that and Jalneti and Sutraneti, everything she did. Ultimately, what we did, when finding no results, we put her on short fast.
Yes.
For 3 days.
Yeah.
So in that short fast, she has to live on honey water and juice.
Yes.
And first 2 days, she had no relief. But on third day on, she was feeling much better.
Yes.
And after 3 days, we inquired, now how you feel? She said, Doctor, it is wonderful. I want to continue this fast. We examined our pulse and everything. We have certain methodologies of examining a patient.
Yes.
And after examination, we say, okay, if you want to continue the fast, you continue. And she continued the fast for about 6 days. And ultimately, she got cured. And that lady is still alive. Now she is around 70 years. And I think she may be having some sort of food allergy or something, I don't know. We have not examined from food allergy angle.
That could be one of the causes. I missed one condition, constipation. That can also cause.
Yes. It is very common. Yes.
But that again, I covered partly with the food, and that can happen. So again, when a patient comes to see me, I ask them.
Most of the constipated patients used to have headache, yes.
I ask them 3 questions. How well you sleep? What position you sleep? How is your bowel movement? Do you get headaches? So I correct all those 3 first before I ask their problem.
I was trained under a very renowned naturopath, Dr. Khusiram Sarma Dilkash.
Yes.
I worked as his junior for around 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever some patient come, the first question he used to put up is, कि नींद अच्छा आता है कि नहीं?
Of course. Of course.
If the patient say yes, नींद आता है. भूख लगता है कि नहीं? भूख लगता है. So then he used to say, admit this patient, she will be all right.
Yeah.
जिसको भूख आता है ठीक, और जिसको नींद अच्छी आती है, वो उसको कोई और रोग होगा तो ठीक ही हो जाएगा. Admit करो, we will treat. And if somebody reply negatively, you know, my hunger is very bad, or I am not getting good sleep, then he used to make systematic examination.
Yes.
It used to take a whole lot of time. So I think these small things play a role in treating a patient.
Definitely. Definitely.
Anyway, your talk was highly educating
Thank you.
and
Thank
very
you.
interesting. I think the participants also have enjoyed. Anybody else to speak something in the audience? Yes.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Faisal Alam,
Mm-hmm.
please ask.
Can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. Can you
Mr.
tell him?
Faisal, you open. No, we are not hearing you.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Good evening, sir. So
Good evening.
previously you have told na, one lady is using the honey and water. There is the lukewarm water or a plain water, or how much we have taken the doses of that. So I want again that.
No. When you are fasting, we generally encourage people to take honey water in normal water, tap water.
It's a tap.
Not in, but in winter seasons, some
Yeah.
patients take in warm water also, no
Okay.
problem. And generally, this honey is mixed with 2 or 3 drops of
Pure honey.
nimbu, lemon
Yes.
also.
Okay.
And we ask them to sip. If you drink,
Okay, sir. I understood.
you will cause acidity.
During a fasting
So
time,
you
we
have
can
to
one
sip.
glass of water. How much honey should be given there?
In 1 glass of water, I think 1 to 2 teaspoonful of honey is enough.
Hello.
In 1 glass of water, 2,
Hello.
1 to
I couldn't hear you, sir. Hello.
Hello. Are you hearing me?
Pandey said 1 to
Hello.
2 teaspoons in a glass of water and a few drops of lemon juice.
Hello.
Hello, yes, please. Mr.
Can you hear
Alam,
me?
I'm hearing you, but you are not getting my sound, perhaps. Hello.
I thought
Volume
network
is not
issue is
right.
there. So that's why we can't anyone get me.
Other people getting my sound or not?
Yes.
Are you hearing Dr. Dhingraji?
Yeah, very clear, sir. And Dr. Alam,
There is
maybe
something
your
wrong with
problem. You
Mr.
must just
Faisal Alam. Anyway, there is nothing very specific. When somebody is fasting, we used to say you take as much as you wish. So sometimes people used to take 3 glasses, 4 glasses in a day, sometimes 6 glasses also.
Yes.
It used to keep the energy.
Of course.
But usually people fast on honey and lime for 3 to 4 days. And that used to bring good results.
That's right.
But long fasts also participate.
All the
Depending
fasting
upon-
should be under guidance. This is my experiences, one should not do themselves. It should be under some guidance.
Yes. Fasting is a very great science.
Yes.
One should fast only under supervision of a competent naturopath. You might have heard Bahuguna ji, the Chipko Andolan.
Yes.
He fasted for over 70 days.
Yes.
And ultimately he was forcefully taken to AIMS. He refused to take forced feeding. And then Allahabad High Court intervened. No, he will break fast only on recommendation of the doctor attending him. So one of my consultants was attending fast, and ultimately the governor of UP persuaded him to break the fast, and he fasted. So it was the longest known fast. Mahatma Gandhi ji used to fast for 20 days, 21 days.
That's correct.
All these are recorded. In US, Dr. Shelton used to have one institution, Institute of Hygiene or something, and he has a written encyclopedia on fasting. His literature is in several volumes. In our naturopathy colleges, fasting used to be one of the topics in study, along with nutrition.
Yes.
Fasting, nutrition, and dietetics. So these are the things. So fasting is itself a science. It is a sort of giving rest to the physiology of the body.
True.
So when you give rest to the physiology, most of the things can corrected itself. That is the science behind it.
Definitely.
Anyway, any other question? Dr. Dhingra ji?
If from audience, no question. Thank you very much. So now I request to Dr. Sandeep Chopra kindly do the vote of thanks to our speakers and our guests.
Good evening to all. Thanks to the speaker of the day, Dr. Tilak Kalra, who presented his presentation in a very brief manner and to the point. And as he described, the history taking and the clinical examination of the patient is most important before we start the treatment. And he described it very beautifully because headache is a very vast topic, but he described it beautifully in a short presentation. I hope this will be beneficial to the delegates in the field of the acupuncture and in their clinical practice daily. And I thank respected Dr. S.N. Pandey, who has his precious time and helping us to promote the acupuncture and sharing his experiences for the headaches. And thanks once again to Dr. Kalra and Dr. S.N. Pandey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to Dr. Indrajit.
Chopra ji.
No, ji.
So now shall we close down?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
Dr.
you for your sparing your time, valuable time. Your guidance will definitely help us to enhance the knowledge of the acupuncturist.
Next time I visit India, I'll come and
whenever my
visit
services
you,
are required, you can order me, no problem. And it is very nice to hear Dr. Tilak Raj ji. And
Thank you.
I would like to meet him as and when he come to India this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please make it a point to see me.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
maybe towards the end of the year. I normally come every year, but with the COVID, nobody's going out from Australia.
That is true.
So hopefully things might improve by the end of the year. And then I'll come and visit you. And I'll talk to Dr. Dhingra and work out something to come and see you.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you. So, namaskar to all. And
Thank you, sir. Everyone.
Thank
Now-
you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
This is enough.
ठीक बोला